If you're ready to get more use out of your planner, then you are in the right place, because today I'm going to teach you 5 easy planner hacks that anyone can do to get more use out of your planner and to get more creative. Hi, I'm Sarah Renee Clark, and I love taking ordinary things and making them more creative, which is why I wanted to bring you these 5 extra planner hacks. In my last video, I showed you how to make awesome Dutch doors and fold out sections and some clever ways to use washi tape and sticky notes in a practical way in your planner. If you missed that video, you can check it out by pressing the I at the top of the screen now. And once you're caught up, we can jump straight into today's video where I have 5 more hacks ready for you to help us get more creative and have more fun while getting organized. And before we jump in, please remember to press subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to find out every time I release a new video and you'll never miss a thing. I've gathered all 10 of these planner hacks from both videos on my blog with links to the supplies I've used and to my coloring planner and stickers featured in these videos. So please take a moment to check that out or save it for later. So we covered the first 5 tips in my last video. So we're going to start with tip number 6, which is to create your own pockets or envelopes in your planner. Now there's a few ways you can do this, and the first way is that you can actually purchase pre-made pockets from different stationery stores. So this first example is simply a corner pocket pack that I picked up from our local Kmart here in Australia for, I think it was about $2. And this is simply got a sticky back, you stick it on and you have a pocket, easy. Alternatively, you could just buy some envelopes and tape them in with washi tape. And look, that's a practical option, especially if you're wanting something quick, but it's not very pretty. So there is a third option, and that is making your own. So I'm going to quickly show you a few different ways that you can make either a pocket or an envelope, depending on what kind of look you're going for and what kind of size you want. So let's do that now. Now, if we want to create a pocket like the ones from Kmart, they are actually very simply a piece of paper cut to size with the folded edges on the back and then adhesive on the back of those folded edges. So we can do that simply with any piece of paper. In this case, I've got quite a large page, so I'm going to use quite a large piece of paper. And what you can simply do is place it down, kind of work out how big you want it, and then cut it down to size. And remember, you're going to want a slight edge, so we can fold that over in a second. But if you're wanting to get really specific, then you might want to measure it out properly. In this case, I'm quite happy if it's not perfect, so I am just going to guess it, and we're going to wing it with a pair of scissors, but that's really up to you. Now obviously you can do this with any kind of paper. You could do this with coloured paper, with patterned paper, with wrapping paper. You could do this with whatever you want. So it can be a lot more decorated than this. This is a very, very simple, plain example. And if you want to be a bit more specific, you could even score these edges before folding them to make sure that your folding is straight. But just for the sake of this example, we're just doing this very quickly. And you can see the end result. So I've folded over the edges and you can see here how big this is going to be. And I'm actually going to use, well, you have a few options here. You could use washi tape around the edges. In fact, if you want it flatter, you wouldn't even need to fold this if you just put washi tape on the edges. But in this case, I'm actually going to use a double-sided tape on the back, that kind of like the adhesive on the Kmart version, so that we can stick that down. So now that that's stuck on, we can put whatever we want in it, and in this case it is the perfect size for my sticker pack so that I can take them with me with my planner. So there's also a few ways that you can make a smaller envelope. For example, if you're wanting something within your pages. So in this case, I've got a much smaller, thinner piece of paper. I've just got a rectangle here. So the idea with this is that you're going to simply put it on the paper and you're going to fold up the bottom to whatever size you want and then fold down the top. And then we're simply going to cut the rest off. So I'm just going to put a little fold there so I know what I'm cutting off. Let's cut that down to size and then we'll stick it in. So here you see we have our little envelope. Now, if you're wanting to actually store something in this, you will need to seal the sides. So you could do that again with double-sided tape or with some washi down the sides. If you're just wanting to use it to write a message or something that you don't necessarily want to be out all the time, maybe you've put away a special little reward for yourself for hitting a particular weight goal or something like that, you can just write that in there without even sticking down the sides. That's up to you. And then you can simply put some double-sided sticky tape or glue on the back to stick it into your planner. So if you're wanting to make a more traditional style envelope, you can do that by taking any rectangle size piece of paper. So I'm using just an A4 piece of paper, but you can scale this down or scale this up. Then what you want to do is find the middle of each side. So our aim here is we're actually going to make a diamond piece of paper. And the best way to do that is to find each of the center parts of each side by folding it in half. And then we're going to rule a line from each of those points to the next. And that's going to give us our lines where we are going to cut that will make our diamond shape to fold our envelope. So once you've got your diamond shape, it's simply a case of finding the center point. So again, you can fold it in half and just press gently to find that center point. And then we're going to fold each of the side pieces into the center. And then we're going to fold the top and the bottom down as well, and that will make our traditional envelope. Now, if you fold the bottom over slightly further, you'll then have room to actually glue the base together. And just like our other example, you can pop whatever you want in your envelope and pop it in your planner, and you can even seal it with a cute sticker. My next planner tip is to always draft what you're doing with a pencil first. Now you might remember back to my last video where I did my August spread with the very fancy Dutch doors. And if you remember correctly, I used a grey lint first to sketch out my lettering, to sketch out the positioning of where I was going to make my cuts, and even to sketch out some of where I was going to draw. Now obviously this example was quite complicated, so it makes sense to draw it out first. But you can do this with any planner spread to help you reduce the amount of mistakes you make, but also to make sure that you spread everything out, that you give yourself enough space, and to take off some of the pressure in getting your design just perfect first time. So this is especially good for bullet journaling because even though you've got your dot grid to work out where everything goes, it's really easy to misjudge or misguess how much space something takes up. And I was intending on showing you how it's good to draft things, but I've made the perfect example here of actually miscounting. So this is the perfect reason why you should draft it first, because otherwise I would have started drawing this and completely messed up my page. Instead, because I've done it in pencil, I can rub it out, do it again. So always handy to do it in pencil, and remember to keep your pencil lines really light so that you can then erase them without rubbing any holes in your paper at the same time. When it comes to other planners though, you can sketch things as well. So you can practice things like lettering, you can practice setting up your page, you can even draft in or pencil in appointments. If you're the kind of person that likes to have a lot of appointments in your planner before you decorate, you can draft them all out with pencil, make sure you've got everything in there, and then fill it with all of your decorative stuff. On the other hand, if you're someone who really likes to make a planner look pretty, you can do what I'm doing now, and you can draft out your design first and then put all your stickers down. So I'm wanting to use these stickers up here. I'm thinking I'll put a quote here. I've then decided I'm going to put my lists for each day along here. I think I'll put a bit of washi tape here and then some more stickers down the bottom. And by drawing it all out with a light pencil, look, if you're an expert planner, maybe this is just an obsolete step altogether. But for me, this is really helpful because I'm very visual and I can see exactly where everything goes. I can stop and think, have I forgotten anything? Do I need to make more space for anything? And I can start sticking stuff down. So in some cases, you might want to erase your lines as you go because erasing over the stickers, some of the lines might shine through and you might find that you might make a bit of a mess of your page if you erase afterwards. So in this case, I'm actually going to erase as I go, as I stick the stickers down. Now, obviously this page is nowhere near done. I haven't even started to color it and I feel like it really needs some color, but I'm not gonna do that now because that's a big project. So I will save that for another day. And as you can see, and as Shane has just kindly pointed out to me, I like to use a lot of stickers. But let's get on to our next planner hack. And if despite all your preparation, you still make a terrible mistake, it's okay. You can grab another sticker because there is no such thing as too many stickers, and you can pop a sticker on top. And if you find your family members have left you annoying messages about your planner habits, it's okay. We don't just have to use stickers to cover it up. There are some other ways that we can cover up mistakes or little mishaps like this too. Bring on the white pens. So in a previous video, I talked about my love for white pens and how good they are for adding details to coloring pages and for decorating, but they are also good for covering up mistakes. So check out that video and see my top recommendations for pens that you can use to cover up little messages like this. So you can also use correction tape, and let's not forget washi tape and more stickers. And if you are like me and like using lots of stickers, you can actually print your own. There are a lot of places online, including my own website, where you can buy printable stickers. Now, what this means is that you can print these out on your own paper, and you can either, look, you can use a traditional method, cut them out by hand and even glue them onto your page, or you can invest in a cutting machine like a Silhouette Cameo that I have here, where it can actually cut out the stickers to a professional level. In fact, many of the shops that you buy stickers from use machines like this to cut out their stickers. So you can get your own printable stickers, get them cut out by your own machine, and give yourself an endless supply of professional quality stickers at home. So this is obviously a bigger investment and probably not the best option unless you're planning on selling your stickers or using these machines for other projects at home. But it's definitely a fun way to make your own stickers and stretch your sticker collection further. And my final planner hack or planner tip, while we are on the topic of stickers, is that anything can be a sticker. I'm going to put that out as a quotable quote. Anything is a sticker. Everything is a sticker. So if you are sick of normal stickers or you just don't have enough of them, we have some other options. I want you to think of this as a chance to get creative. I want you to think of it as a chance to go scrapbook level inspiration for your planner. So, I mean, some obvious ideas to get you started is things like photos. If you have photos or tickets from an event or cards or things for mementos that you want to keep a record of. But there are also some other ways that we can decorate beyond just stickers and washi tape. So one example is using wrapping paper. Now I know a lot of us get some really nicely wrapped gifts in some very pretty paper, and sometimes this paper is actually really, really pretty and would look great in your planner. So you could cut this into little strips just like washi tape and then use glue or double-sided tape to stick it down so it looks like washi tape, or you could use big panels of it in the background of different sections. So you could treat it like stickers. In fact, if you got really clever, you could potentially even cut out some different shapes or use some die cuts on stuff like that. A lot of the Christmas cards that we get or birthday cards end up going to waste. So why not keep them as a memento or even cut out some of the sections and use them in your planner as decorations. We've also got fun foiled paper. That's always a bit of fun. This is actually just a picture that I printed off from my Instagram page with a fun quote. Here's another card that could work as a fun backdrop. These are some bookmarks. They're actually from my Mother's Day colouring bookmark pack, and I sort of didn't have a use for them, so I thought maybe I could use them as a decorative thing in my planner. Another one from, this is a free Mother's Day card that I have on my website, but again, would be great as a background. Use postcards like this cute one I have got from Moby & Co. Or this postcard that's actually holographic, so that is kind of cool. Gift tags are always a good option. You can buy adhesive scrapbooking paper. This is actually something that I cut out with my silhouette that I was talking about earlier as a bit of a test run, and I haven't really had a use for it yet, but I do feel like it would make for a great planner decoration. We can use fabric or ribbons or tulle, whatever this is, old stamps, a cow. Okay, maybe not the cow. So maybe not everything can be a sticker. Coloring pages are another good option, whether they are ones that you've colored in. In fact, I like to take photocopies or scans of my coloring pages. So this isn't actually the original, but now that I've made a copy of this, I can cut out sections of this. Again, I could use it as washi tape, just in little sections, or I could cut out a big panel and use it as a background, and that instantly adds a whole bunch of color, and it's personal because it's something I've colored. Or if you like the black and white look, cut out a coloring page that hasn't been colored and use that. Or even paintings in the same way. This is just a watercolor painting that I started that I don't really have another use for, so it'd be great to include in a planner. Now, I'm not sure if any of those things sparked ideas, or if maybe you have some better ideas of different things that you could use, especially if you have done scrapbooking before. Maybe you have some suggestions of things that you like to use in your planner. I would love to hear those ideas. So please head on over to my Facebook group and post a photo in the group of some of the things that you've used, or post a comment in this video below telling me some of the different objects that you've considered or that you think would work really well in a planner. There are so many ways to be creative with your planner, and so many ways that we can use it beyond just using what we are given when we purchase them. So I hope you found this video and my previous video helpful. Please tell me in the comments below if you have any other tips that you'd like to share, or if you had any that stood out to you as something that you would like to try. Remember, I've included all of these hacks from both videos in a blog post that I will pop a link to in the description. So please check that out and check out the other resources that I've listed in that post. And now, don't go anywhere. I have another video for you ready right here. So check that out next, and don't forget to subscribe so that you will be the first to find out every time I create a new video, because I have so many other ideas that I would love to share with you, and I would love the chance to connect with you again.